Hi, welcome to the Russ and Vince Courtside Podcast. I'm your host, Vince. Before we go into the video, please hit that like and subscribe button down below if you enjoy our videos. Let's get right into it.
What's good, everybody? It is your host, Vince here. Unfortunately, no Russ today, but that's okay. We're going to have to do the suffering in silence because what a boring fest of a game this was. How are you guys doing? Once again, I'm your host, Vince here. Welcome to today's episode of the Russ and Vince Courtside Podcast, where we do talk all things sports. Right now, we are diving very deep into the 2025 NBA playoffs. Today's matchup, a snore fest. OKC dominant win over the Minnesota Timberwolves. And I got to tell you, man, I kind of predicted something like this would happen all day today. I was having conversations with my coworkers. Shout out to you, Jeff. And yeah, they said, you know what? This is exactly what's probably going to happen. Thunder are going to probably close out today. And then he predicts tomorrow, Pacers are going to basically Cleveland is what he calls them. He's going to Cleveland them. So essentially, OKC did what they need to do to get this win. Shout out to you. Western Conference champions. Congratulations. Of course, if you are an OKC fan, congratulations. You guys haven't really gotten close to a finals appearance literally since 2012 when you guys had your Katie, Russ, and James Harden experience. And now here we go. Let's see if you guys can finish it out. In the end, you guys, like I said, a very interesting game to say the least that we were able to watch. And by interesting, I mean interesting in the first 3 minutes. And then after that, it just kind of was not it. So before we get into this bore fest of a game, let me just go ahead and say this. If you guys are not already subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe right now. If you do enjoy the content, of course, feel free to hit a like button. It is free, my friend. And of course, if you have other friends that do enjoy the content as well, feel free to go ahead and share with them. Let them know, hey, we do go live, especially during the playoffs. We love to talk basketball. And of course, we love to hear your responses. Leave a comment down below if there are certain opinions or things that you saw that maybe we didn't catch ourselves. We love to analyze every single game that we get a chance to and sometimes just give our opinions. Of course, just like us and regular fans, we have certain teams that we hope come out on top, and other teams we hope lose. In this particular situation, I'm going to be honest with you. I was not wanting OKC to win, right? But at the end of the day, the better team won, and we got to give it up to them. So at the end of the day, you guys, OKC, again, dominant win over the Minnesota Timberwolves. They really didn't let go of anything after about 3, maybe 4 or 5 minutes into the literal first quarter. It was an onslaught, to say the least. They quite literally dominated in every single area that you can imagine. The Timberwolves didn't even really have a chance, to be honest with you, and it got so bad that I believe that there was a stoppage at the 7 minute and 11 second mark of the first quarter. You could literally see Jada McDaniels looking discouraged. You could see Julius Randle looking frustrated. You could see Anthony Edwards looking frustrated. You could already tell this team kind of knew what was about to go down before it even happened. And yeah, it is not good. Not good at all. But hey, like I said, hopefully you guys didn't waste your time watching this boring game because it really just it was just not it just wasn't it. It just wasn't it. Um Thankfully, I wasn't just sitting here watching the game and had nothing else to do with my time. I was playing Call of Duty. And yeah, even when I was watching this game, for one moment, I would play the game. I'd glance over, see what the score is. Next thing you know, OKC goes from a 5 point lead to a 15 point lead. I go play again. I look down. Next thing you know, OKC's up 30. It got that bad. In fact, it got so bad, they were up by 40 plus points in this game. It was insane, man. Like, really hope you guys didn't waste your time watching this. We've often talked a lot about how this matchup has just been kind of a snore fest. It has not really lived up to expectations based off the storylines that we heard early on. Anthony Edwards, rising superstar, Jordan esque, great charisma and smile, this, that, and the third. Lakers in five, killer, all that stuff. And then, he beat Steph when really he didn't actually beat Steph. He just beat the Warriors when obviously Steph was not really present. He was hurt after 12 minutes of the first quarter of game one, which they won. So obviously, the sports media predetermined and preordained Anthony Edwards as the best thing, the next thing, the face of the league, even though he clearly said he doesn't want to be the face of the league. And I think a lot of us kind of ran with that after seeing how dominant he was. We saw how just he seemed to really want the moment, at least in the first and the second round. As for the Western Conference Finals, this is now back to back years that is just not it for you, man. And I hate to do this, but we got to keep things subjective, man. Ant-Man, can't score, man. All talk, man. Cancun in 5. It's the irony that he started talking all this mess after beating the Lakers, right? The Lakers. And wanted to talk about how it was the Lakers in 5, this, that, and the third, and blah, 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 blah. Well, listen, man. This is kind of where maturity kind of kicks in every now and then, right? Where you talk all that talk, you try to walk all that walk, but once you actually go against a team that you're not equipped to really handle, especially when this is a team game and not an individual game, you get humbled, right? So all that Lakers in 5 crap that we were hearing from you, talking all that mess in the first round, all that, basically just going and breezing past the Warriors, all that stuff. Hey, you finally ran into some team that you're not good, man. You're not gonna do it. So definitely, it's not the end of the world. He's only 23. I think he's in year 4 or 5 now. Considering he's still very young at 23, he's only played 4 or 5 seasons. He's made the Western Conference Finals twice. There's a lot of players in the league right now who've only made it once or have never even sniffed the conference finals at all. So it's not to say that Anthony Edwards can't get the job done in the future, but definitely this was not a matchup for him at all. There are multiple times you could just see he was uncomfortable. He couldn't figure out the defense, and it just showed. And when the team needed him the most, he just couldn't figure it out. Some of that is his fault. Some of that, well, we'll get into that here in just a second. But like I said, you guys, OKC, man, OKC. Let's really dive into this box score real quick, okay? Because I think that when you see this, you kind of really see just how dominant this team really was. Let's pay attention to that first quarter, okay? That first quarter is literally the whole story of this game. That first half, you could say, is really that whole bit of that game. And so you got 26 to 9 points. 9 points? How do you score 9 points in the Western Conference Finals in an elimination game on the road? Like, that's the very frustrating part I don't understand is how is this possible? Like this Timberwolves team is so confusing. One moment you're thinking, oh, they cannot match up with OKC. They just don't got it. Their bench, they don't have the depth. Other games, their starters, they're not doing what they need to do. And then other games, they go win by like 42 or 43 points. It's like, I think that what we experienced and what we saw in this series from the Timberwolves side, at least, is literally how the series went is exactly how the team is inconsistent. Like one moment you're getting a big game from Anthony Edwards, but a very bad game from Julius Randle. Another game you're getting something from both, but then nothing from their bench. Another game you're getting like 60 plus points from their bench, but they can't close the deal because there's no defense and they're turning the ball over all the time. And so it's just kind of like, what else are we to do? Not much else. And so I don't know. I mean, to me, like watching this game, like I said, it was boring, but it was boring because you could just tell they were clearly outmatched and outclassed. And there's nothing that they could have did. And to be honest with you guys, this game was so boring. I'm not going to spend too much time on this live. So if you can catch it while I am live, fantastic. Leave your comments down below. I'll definitely give you guys shout outs. If you're not able to catch it, don't even worry. Don't trip on it. Check it out when you get a chance. And, again, let me know what you thought in the comment section below, what you saw in this game if you did end up having to watch it. But I think the story of this game is very simple. In the very beginning of this game, OKC literally put their foot on the Wolves' neck, 26 to 9. Then they followed it up the second quarter, 39-23. That means they went into the half with, and I don't got my glasses, and I'm trying to do my mental math here, 16, 17, 33. Okay, yeah. They were up 33 points at half. That's ridiculous. That's embarrassing. Like, you know what? As a Lakers fan, yeah, we did lose in 5 when clearly we were the higher seed. And yeah, we should have won, could have won, whatever. But matchups do make styles, and it just wasn't a matchup for us. But at least we did not get embarrassed like this. Not once, but at least 2 or 3 times you guys got handled. You guys literally looked outclassed. And the fact that you guys got gentlemen swept in a Western Conference Finals, y'all gonna have a long off season to think about what you guys need to do. But again, let's just look at the box score here. I think it's going to say a lot, and then we're going to obviously really highlight the winning team more towards the end, which is of course OKC. But when you look at the Timberwolves, you got Julius Randle, who, I mean, when you look at the stats here, it does look like he showed up a little bit better. I mean, he had 24 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, but in terms of his impact, I felt like he tried to impact the game a little bit more early on, but as the game was starting to clearly go away, his 24 points were not impactful at all. It quite frankly wasn't. I do think he did his best, especially after the performance he had in game 4 back in Minnesota, where he only scored 6 points, which again is another story of its own, but it's just not good enough. And then on top of that, you look at the rest of the starters, you get 0 from Mike Conley, which you guys know. If you haven't already know, please go check our previous videos about not just this series, but other series that we've covered with the Timberwolves. I go into depth about how one of the changes that I believe is coming for the Timberwolves at this point is that point guard position, because Mike Conley, he's a great leader. We've already heard the great stories in terms of what he's able to do for the locker room, in terms of helping out develop these young cats, and things of that nature. But you're not getting any production from him. He's small, he's older. He At this point, he's kind of like I don't know, your Udonis Haslam. He's kind of like that bench player, that Chris Paul, that's not really seeing many minutes, but is at least like helping the young guys get their basketball IQ up and kind of being like a coach extension on the bench. That is kind of what I'm seeing Mike Conley at this point, because his production level in this playoffs and in the regular season as well has just not been cutting it. You can't get 0 points from your starting point guard. That's just not acceptable. And then you got Rudy Gobert. I know he's a defensive minded guy, but you hardly seen any impact from him as well. He was almost unplayable at times. And then again, Jaden McDaniels, like I said, man, watching that first quarter was something else. It was something else. At 7 minutes and 11 seconds of the first quarter, you already knew it was a wrap, and it really started with Jaden McDaniels' body language. He had missed, I think, 3 or 4 really good looks in a row. And as soon as they called a timeout, you could see his head down, you could see him open, and body language really does translate in performance, not only in basketball, but just in life. And so when you have a guy who just missed 3 or 4 shots, he's got his head down, and there's nobody there to pick him up right away. There's no leadership, which again, we can't expect Anthony Edwards to just come with that leadership at 23 years old. As great and as talented as he is, he clearly is not ready, as we've seen. His time will come. It's just not now. But when you got body language from Jaden, body language from Julius, and then again, body language from your star player, Anthony Edwards, showing defeat, you've already lost the game. You've already lost the battle. It's just a matter of when, not a matter of if. And that's pretty much what we saw, literally not even full halfway through that first quarter. They couldn't buy a bucket. They couldn't score. And they actually did a pretty decent job on the defensive end, if you think about it. They held the Thunder under 30 points in that first quarter. And the same thing in the third quarter. It's just they lost that second and fourth quarter, and they were completely deflated in such a short early time of the game. So again, like it's just not good enough. And then again, you only get 11 points from Naz Reid, 11 points from Terrence Shannon, and a lot of that was just garbage time. I mean, Dante DiVincenzo, who was a part of that mega trade for Julius Randle and then obviously Karl Anthony Towns to New York, where has he been? I mean, we known him at least last season with New York as this defensive-minded guy who did great in terms of on-ball defense, timely threes. He was clutch a lot of times for New York. And so you got to wonder, like, what exactly is going on with him? he's had a lot of inconsistencies off the bench. And you got to wonder, are the Timberwolves planning on keeping him after such an underwhelming performance in the playoffs? Because you need to be able to have players you can count on when it matters the most. And he clearly did not do that, at least in this series. But again, the main thing here, you guys, let's look at the turnovers. 21 turnovers. 20, 21. We're not talking no Savage, not 21 Savage, not 21 Jump Street. 21 turnovers. I don't know a team in the playoffs that's ever won a game off 21 turnovers. It's not going to happen. You guys had more turnovers than you had assists. How does that happen? So it just, and you could tell watching the game, some of it was the Timberwolves just being lazy and trying to press the occasion, but a lot of it also had to do with the Oklahoma City Thunder pressure. Their team defense, like I said in previous videos, is insane. I don't think I've seen a team defense like this in a long time. I actually can't even really think far back the last time I saw a young team like this who's been this good defensively all across the boards, from the perimeter play all the way to the interior. They are stacked, and we are clearly seeing why they are the favorite and have been the favorite to win at least the West for majority of this year. But yeah, I mean, Timberwolves, have fun in Cancun, man. It's just, this is not good. It's not good enough, you know. Yeah. I honestly am baffled. Like, just even watching that game, I'm just like, I was expecting a lot more. I didn't think that the Timberwolves would just lay down like that. I thought that they would at least give a little bit more of a battle, or at least try to do a little bit more. But in this case, nah, they just didn't. So, but anyways, Thunder, I mean, let's talk about them. Thunder are primed and ready for their first ever franchise championship. At this point, I mean, I know that what we're seeing from the Pacers is insane, but the Thunder have literally handled their business all season long, not skipped a beat, right? They've been the number one seed all season long. They have had 60 plus wins. I think they were the fastest team to 80 wins or something like that at this point, based off the amount of games they've played. And so they're doing their thing. And the coolest thing about it is they're doing it in a variety of different ways. Like, you never know who's going to really show up. I believe in that first half, Shea had 25 points, Jalen Williams had 15 points, and Chet had 15 points as well. They were already up by 30. Don't get this box score twisted, you guys. They all, the way that they were playing, they all three, the big three that we've come to really start to put some respect on at this point, right? Because the big three, I think is fair to say, they're clearly here now, right? They all could have went for 30. If the game hadn't gone out of hand this soon and they had to play more minutes and get more looks, they could have easily all gone for 30. But instead, they did what they needed and took care of business early on, and that's all she wrote. And of course, you got Shea looking like the star that he is. 34 points, 7 rebounds, 8 assists, 2 steals, plus 23. Like, very efficient shooting, 14 for 25, 2 for 4 from 3. And a weird stat, right? Because I know I've complained about it. Free throw merchant, right? Only 4 free throw attempts. He was aggressive the whole game. He was getting great looks. But at the same time, the Timberwolves are one of the main reasons why he kept going to the free throw line in this series. They foul, they're lazy, just like they turn the ball over on the offensive end. They also foul a lot on the defensive end. They're just not equipped to handle a team constructed like the Thunder. They got outclassed and outmatched, and it shows. And then even the bench, they didn't really need much from them, but you could see Alex Caruso is a huge difference maker. As a Laker fan, I am still trying to wrap my head around and understand why we ever let him go for basically nothing to the Chicago Bulls when we literally had the opportunity to get him. All we had to do was sign him and match the contract that the Bulls were literally trying to give him. But no, instead, Rob Pelinka, who we just signed to an extension, decided, you know what? I don't think we need him. We could go find somebody else. How's that going so far? We're still trying to find a replacement for him. 3 or 4 years later. and we can't because he's just that good. He is literally a player you can put on any lineup. You can start him if you want. You can have him come off the bench if you want. You can do whatever you want with him. He's a Swiss knife, army knife. He can literally do everything, and he's a coach's coach, like a player's coach or whatever. He knows what he needs to do, and he does it well. He knows his role. He goes out there, he kills it, and again, like we've heard a lot about the depth. The depth is good. And this is a big defensive minded team that is able to score large points because they get out, they get the turnovers and they get out and they run. What I'm interested to see in is these team stats because the team stats are really going to show a lot. Fast break points, 19 to 11. It's actually less than I expected, but paint points, 54 to 42. That just shows you this team overall wasn't settling for threes. Not to say that they ever have, because I haven't really known OKC to be a high volume 3-point shooting team. They usually just take whatever they got to get and then do and get it pretty well. But I mean, again, they went up by as much as 39 points. 39 points. That's insane. They shot 52% from the field. They were pretty dead even. I mean, not dead even, but, they had a little more rebounds. But in terms of shot attempts, they were pretty dead even in terms of shot attempts. It's just their looks were far better. They got better quality looks, and they didn't turn the ball over as much compared to at least the Timberwolves. Even though it does show 16, a lot of those turnovers came later in the end of the game when the game was already out of balance. So, again, that's why I'm telling you guys for context reasons, if you didn't watch the game, the Thunder actually didn't even have really 16 turnovers. They have more like, I'd say 10, right? 10, maybe even 9. The other turnovers kind of came well late in the game when the game was already out of the balance. They started putting in these, bench warmers and players that really don't see a lot of time. And you already kind of know how it goes from there. But, I mean, again, like this just shows everything, man. The Nuggets, I said the Nuggets. The Timberwolves, sorry, this just isn't your year. You guys actually in some ways overachieved because not a lot of people expect you to make it this far. You guys did, although you guys got humbled in this way. You guys are still a young team relatively. You guys clearly have to upgrade in certain positions. For example, that point guard position. You guys definitely got to look for a deeper bench if possible. I'm not sure what kind of trade possibilities you guys are able to do in the offseason. I'm not sure entirely who you're looking to disband and who you're looking to bring in. We'll find out during the offseason and definitely talk about it here on this channel. But there clearly are changes that need to be made because this is now back-to-back years that you guys basically got handled and embarrassed. You guys got embarrassed last season with Luka Doncic and the Dallas Mavericks, and now you guys just got humbled again by this OKC team led by Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. So for the most part, you guys, that's really all that's going to be it for me. Like I said, there's not really much more in depth to go here. Russ, you slick dog, you are lucky that you are not in today because this would have been a waste of your time too, my guy. But hey, this is the channel. We got to get this stuff out. And yeah, so either way, man, congratulations to the OKC Thunder. I hope that you guys are able to possibly, capitalize on this momentum, even though you guys are young. Let's see how you guys fare in the finals, which I believe starts next Thursday, early June. And yeah, other than that, man, appreciate you guys for tuning in. If you guys, like I said, are not already subscribed, go ahead and subscribe, turn your notifications on. That way, as soon as we go live, you'll be the first to know about it. If you enjoy the views or the videos, of course, hit a like, share with your friends. We definitely appreciate the support. But yeah, we'll see you guys probably tomorrow when we see the Pacers go ahead and close their game out, like I predicted, against the Knicks. Till next time.
That's a wrap for today's episode of the Russ and Vince Courtside Podcast, where we bring you the hottest NBA moments, discussions, and everything in between. If you like today's show, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on those notifications so you never miss a Courtside Podcast again.